So, do you guys use AI in your video content planning, and what is your AI weapon of choice? Faye, I'll go to you first on this one.
Cool. Okay, that's a funny thing. For a lot of you guys who are focusing on AI in general, you notice like there's a brand new tool coming out every single day, maybe 3 a day, and everybody is like dot
So
AI.
many, yeah.
So many, like even tools that were not AI powered are now calling themselves AI powered just for clarification's sake. So when I think about AI, by the way, we're very focused on YouTube, but these days, I mean, since last year, 2022, we started really focus on like on-site, on-page SEO for our content as well. So I urge people to number one, not fire their writers right away or stop writing altogether because AI is something that you can't just rely and count on 100% of the time because we've all heard those horrendous updates and news of like, asking it a question and the responses are coming back that has nothing to do with the question itself. So use it as a bit of a guide, especially when you feel stuck. Maybe a new topic on the title or description of the video, you're feeling a little stuck. Scripting, perhaps you can use it, but always human verify it, review it, whether it's yourself or your script writer or your video editor. The tools that I know that's really hot right now is ChatGPT. It's very powerful. There are so many different ways to use it. So there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube. Start learning how powerful it can be. But there are also other tools as well, such as I think about like Podcastle .ai for editing, recording content in general. We're exploring a whole suite of tools, which I've been publishing on like faceroll.com, just experimenting with them. So before I get a little too deep into like a specific tool, Eden and Marilu, what are your thoughts on AI for content creation?
ChatGPT, was whenever that came out, I had one friend who was like, every day, he's like, "You need to make tutorials on this. You need to do this. You need to jump in." And I was like, "Ah." Like, I'm sure it's great, but, like, there's tons of other people who are doing that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not where my focus was at the moment. But I have played with it, and I enjoy it for doing tasks that I don't wanna do, like writing contracts
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
cover letters and bios, like, things like that, where I was like it's just like that, like, assistant who's, like, loves to do that stuff, and you're like, "Okay, here's some details, can you make me something?" But I still, every time, go in and edit it, I read it, and I look at it and be like, "Oh, okay, like, it could be this or that, or, like, that's wrong." I
Yeah.
did have a lot of fun having it, so I have, like, a new project that I'm going to be doing soon that's, focusing on self-care. That's like a new channel, a new account that's like a self-care nerd, self-care encyclopedia
Oh,
thing.
nice.
And, like, I don't like to write blog posts, so I was kind of, like, asking it, like, "If you wrote a blog post about this thing, what would you say?" And it, like, writes it, and I was like, "Oh, that's actually pretty good." So something that I'm considering as far as using it for content creation is with disclosure, be like, "Chat
Mm.
wrote this, here's the blog post on that thing." Like, I will never lie to people and say I wrote it and somebody else wrote it, like, I just won't. I'll be like, "Yeah, like, I got a computer to write this, so there you go. That's some information on it."
Yeah, I think that that's something that's very important not to lose sight of is just like Faye said, don't fire your copywriters just yet. Is I use ChatGPT just sometimes be like, there's something I want to explain, say about camo. There's like a feature that I want to explain in a very like non-technical way, like without any technical terms. I'll be like, hey, Chat GPT, how do you explain like white balance to a 5-year-old or something? And it'll give me ideas for how to make how to present things less without using any technical words, basically. And I found
Mhm.
that really useful. And I've also played around with it by like, sometimes part of my video planning process is I just make a bunch of bullet points that I know I want to hit and then I order them later. And so I usually do that, but I've played around with being like, here, Chat GPT, here's a bunch of bullet points I want to cover in a video. Can you put them in like a cohesive order for me? And I will say though, I have always still had to do editing. I've always
Mm.
edited everything that I've gotten from ChatGPT. Like, I haven't one time had ChatGPT come out with something that I'm just like, "Oh, great, that was it. One take, done." So,
No, never.
True.
yeah.
That's so interesting, and you just reminded me, Eden, especially for people who are listening, watching this, who are also podcasters themselves, that they can really use ChatGPT to research the guest or guests. So, in this case, I can ask
Oh.
ChatGPT, I'm meeting Mary Lou for the first time during the recording, and I wonder what Eden's been up to. So, depending on the person, especially like Mary Lou, you guys are both very active on social media. So, there's more information about you. Now, if you're researching someone who's never really published anything, now ChatGPT will do a lot less. But I just find it to be really interesting how it can not only just publish content for you, but help you with that research process as a content creator.
Yeah, that just is one of the things that I just took a mental note of as something that I'm definitely going to
I was
try.
like, "I'm gonna go look myself up." I was like, "What
Yeah,
does
yeah.
ChatGPT know about me?"
That's
Uh, so another thing that I've seen, I kinda tested out was, like, asking it for 10 topics on a topic
mm,
for planning out your content, right? So if you're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I know I wanna cover, cooking things with an Instant Pot," but I'm like, "I don't know what to do." And you're like, ask it that, and it'll give you some things, and it's like, "Are they all gonna be winners? No, but some of them
mm,
will," and then it can be like, "Can
Yeah.
you expand on this thing?" And it'll give you those like, it's a really cool tool, and I don't think people should be scared of it because it is information, but I do think you should be nice to it
Yes,
just in case.
absolutely. Yeah, I
You should
always
be nice
joke.
to everyone, but
Yeah, I always joke that when the robots take over, I'm switching sides immediately,
bye. Yeah, I'll be with you. I'll be like, "Whatever you need, I'm here. You need me to get you something?"
Yeah.